All right, here we are again. Rob the Darksider here with you. Talk a little bit more Jets and, you know, just my thing. So, anyway, a lot of people making waves and screaming and yelling about Joe Douglas and the Jets and the rebuilding, and we've been rebuilding for 50 years, and what we're doing is not working, and it's all the same old stuff, and blah, 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 blah. It is not the same old stuff. Okay, I am not going to sit here and say Joe Douglas has done an amazing job because the jury's still out, but he's done a much better job than a lot of you want to give him credit for. This is not the same old thing. The same old thing with the Jets is starting a rebuild, get rid of some guys, and go out and spend a ton of money on high-priced free agents. Okay, draft poorly, give away draft picks instead of accumulating draft picks. The Jets gutted the team. I know nobody wants to hear that excuse, but they gutted the team after 2020. And last year was the first year that they really had like nobody, like they gutted everything. A couple of guys held over from 2020, but 2021 was the year the Jets had a bunch of draft picks and did not go crazy on free agents, and they actually made some progress and have the nucleus of a good team. Now, you will not see the Jets go out and make big splashes in free agency. So you guys who on one hand complain that the Jets are doing the same thing, and on the other hand complain that the Jets are not spending money, you're going to be disappointed again because they're not going to spend a ton of money. They will get a couple of high-priced guys, but they're not going to break the bank for guys, superstars, guys who are going to cost a lot of money over a lot of years. They may make a couple of big signings, wide receiver or cornerback or something, but the Jets have made it clear, and Joe Douglas has made it clear that he does not build through free agency. He's going to build through the draft. He's going to supplement those players with free agents and create depth with free agents. And that's just what Joe Douglas is going to do. He has shown he's going to do that. He's only made one out of character move, and that was trading for Joe Flacco during the year. And I think the Jets just I would not be surprised if that was a management move and not so much Joe Douglas himself. But regardless, the Jets have a blueprint. They are following the blueprint. And if you take a step back and actually pay attention to what the Jets are doing and have been doing as compared to what they used to do, you will see what I'm talking about. It is different this time. I am not saying it's good. I am not saying the Jets are headed in the right direction and that everything's going to be great, but they have the nucleus in place to do that if the players they have develop and the coaching staff develops and everybody grows together. It is absolutely in place for the Jets to become a good team and a contender. Now, the AFC is stacked, so of course, that's probably all the signs you need that the Jets will get good because they're just going to be in a dogfight every year. But regardless, this is not your 1980s Jets. This is not your 1990s Jets. Certainly not your 2010 teens Jets. Not at all. This team was gutted all the way. They got rid of just about everybody. They traded for draft picks. They didn't sign high-priced free agents, and you will not see the Jets sign a really high-priced free agent until they, let's say next year or the year after, when the Jets are a player or two short and they need that one guy to get over the hump, and now you're ready to win. You don't have time to draft a rookie and develop him. Then you might go see the Jets spend a little bit of money. Winning teams spend money or trade draft picks when it gets them over the hump. They don't do it just to say they did it. They don't just go spend a lot of money on a running back, let's say, like when Le'Veon Bell was traded for, Jet fans were like, oh, this is a great move, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. You don't spend a lot of money on a running back unless he's your final piece. You don't go and trade assets or overpay for a real big player unless he's your last piece and you're taking a shot and you still have a young nucleus. The Jets are not going to do that. They might do that a couple of years from now on one player who is the final piece, but the Jets have shown that they are not going to do that as building blocks. It's just not going to happen. What they're going to do, again, is build through the draft. They're going to develop their players. Then they will supplement further depth with free agents. That has been the way they've built it the last 2 years. And if you really take a step back and stop looking at every little move as an individual move and look at the whole thing, you'll see what direction they're going. So that's what I've done. Now, I had to learn to look at things that way because it was so painful watching this team. The constant losing, the constant bad draft picks, everything just never goes their way. I had to take a step back and learn about the cap and learn about free agency and learn about how the hard cap in football causes teams to do certain things. There's several different ways to build, but the more successful teams do it this way or that way. And the last few times the Jets tried to rebuild, I was happy. The last time was 2017. I saw a post from myself on Facebook Memories today that said, finally the Jets are doing a real rebuild. Okay, so much for that. Maccagnan went out and bought Trumaine Johnson and whoever else he bought. That's the one that sticks out. But that's when you give up on the rebuild and you start to try and reload. Now, again, I don't know whether that pressure is coming from above. The Johnsons are insisting that the Jets have to rebuild and go sign guys. They want to make a splash. They want to justify ticket prices, whatever it may be. I think what happened here is Joe Douglas said, I'm going to take a 6-year deal, but you're leaving it to me. You can't tell me to do this. You can't tell me to do that. We'll have a couple of bad years, and then after that, things will get better, but you have to ride this out. I have to believe that's what happened because, again, evidence points to that. This guy is the first one who's come in here and hasn't done the about face. Now, I'm not saying Idzik or Tannenbaum at the end, or certainly not Maccagnan were good. But you have to think that they wouldn't start one way and then flip over to another way completely. It doesn't make any sense. So that just implies that there's a lot of pressure from above. I think maybe the Flacco move, as I mentioned earlier, might have been a move from above with the Jets as well. But that's a minor thing. You trade a 5th-round draft pick in a tough spot for a backup quarterback, veteran quarterback. I can't necessarily say, all right, well, the owners really meddled in that one, if that's the case. It's not really a Joe Douglas move. It's not a move he's made in the couple of years he's been here, but I can forgive that one. I can forgive the owner saying, hey, Joe, what are we going to do? The rookie's hurt. We got a nobody backing him up. We let Flacco go. He's probably available. Go get him. Is that what happened? Of course, I don't know. I'm taking a guess based on what I saw. But for the most part, it seems that Douglas is standing his ground and doing it his way, which is slowly and making the Jets young. At one point, the Jets were the oldest team in the league, and it wasn't too long ago. Now they are the youngest team in the league just a few years later, okay? A young team is going to have its growing pains. There are going to be guys that don't work out, and there are going to be guys who do work out. And the teams that are successful take the guys that do work out, make the guys who don't work out a little bit, not hurt as much because they have a nucleus of guys. They build some depth with free agency. They let players go a year early rather than a year late. Whatever. Quarterback being the biggest key. We're not going to go into Zach Wilson again. We've done it 100 times between my podcast and this little Rob the Darksider thing here. We've touched on Zach Wilson enough. The Jets are headed in the right direction. Nobody can predict whether or not it will actually work out, but they are doing it the right way, and they have a nucleus of guys. We just have to hope that this coaching staff can be the ones to develop the players, develop the quarterback, and go from there. So again, this is not the same rebuild. It is not rebuilding for 50 years. It is not the same thing we've seen the last few times. This is different. It is a better way of doing it, and results pending. Results are pending. Results will vary, and results will be based upon whether or not the Jets can develop the players. But the infrastructure is there. All right, that's it for me. I will be back again sometime soon. Check out my Facebook page, Rob the Darksider. There's Twitter, YouTube, of course. You're looking at YouTube here. Some of you may be listening. I'm doing both at the same time here, so you might be listening to a podcast. But check out the Facebook page, the Twitter page, the Instagram page, and of course the YouTube page. And I will catch up with you again real soon. All right, have a good one. Rob the Darksider out.